Phoenix, in the great state of Maricopa, which I call the occupied territory. And I don't mean that lightly about the occupied territory or the state of Maricopa, because the Maricopa County supervisors believe that they are a state of their own. So we're fighting with them over a subpoena to get access to all the voting equipment and ballots and digital copies of the ballots, everything that we need for our Senate investigation for election integrity. They're completely blocking it every inch of the way. They challenged our subpoenas in court. They said they wanted to work things out. The judge basically said, you guys need to work this out before I rule. They said, okay, we'll work it out. We'll come to an agreement. We thought we had an agreement. They keep changing their story. They've broken their agreements. They've misled the public. And then, believe it or not, yesterday morning, they fired a temporary restraining order in the court to fight the Senate to block us from voting on a resolution of contempt. Now, just think about this. They're asking the court to violate separation of powers and totally ignore the Constitution. It's just amazing. It's just amazing here.
But the vote didn't go quite the way we had expected it. And yes. So if you don't mind, Sue, why don't you tell us what...
And Ron, you tell our listening audience that Liz has been working very hard with almost 1,000 volunteers to really do the back work that would never have come out in an audit.
Well, I'm not going to tell her that because you just did.
Okay. For people who don't know who Liz Harris is, she did run for office, but after that, she got together and created this network of volunteers that went out, and they were knocking on doors and finding out things that nobody else would find out because it's just too much manpower.
Right.
But she has been a rock star. She has been acknowledged nationally. She's been on some national shows.
Oh, she's been on the Bannon show, but yeah. Here's one of the things that we have. She does this. How often is it, Sue, that she does a Zoom call?
She has a Zoom call every day, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., and then another one at 11 a.m.
Wow.
Every single day.
Yeah. And what did she have to say this morning and or this evening?
Well, everyone obviously is very disappointed in what happened today, and so people were just talking about what's our next move, if we have one, and nobody really seems to know right now, but I've been getting some information from some different sources, and I wanted to read to you some of the emails that I've gotten. So, would you like to hear?
Yeah, I would, but let me ask you this. I've been terribly disappointed in this, as these gentlemen have today. Do you notice a shift in attitude because of Boyer's vote today?
Well, yes, obviously people have lost hope, but we are not quitting.
Good. No.
Okay,
what people are saying.
This one email I got said, I was requested to ask you to call and text Senator Boyer on his cell phone. I never give out cell numbers, but this is a very different and disturbing situation because he did not let only Arizona down, but the world. This is Mr. Boyer's number. 480-577-0078. Of course, we never threaten anyone. We just want to voice our disappointment.
What's the number again?
480-577-0078.
And that's a direct line to his office?
That's his cell phone, so you'll probably have to text because I tried calling earlier and the line was full.
Especially if you're in LD20. Just express your concern for this. My dad used to always tell me, let your yes be yes and your no mean no. And if you say, yes, I'm going to do this, then fulfill it. Fulfill the obligation. If you say no, then don't do it.
That is just incredible. We've had Mark Finchem on. We've been walking through some of the details on where it came down to the document that went out last week saying, hey, you know, Maricopa County Board doesn't comply with these subpoenas. You are going to be arrested. And people want to know what is the latest on the threat of the arrest, these 16 Republicans who signed that letter. Why hasn't anything taken place? Because that was some pretty strong rhetoric there, and some might say even close to the action, getting close to the action. So where's the action? Where's the meat on this?
Well, like I said, unfortunately, yesterday morning, the supervisors filed a temporary restraining order because we were going to vote on the resolution for contempt. Now, all 16 Republican senators signed the document last week. We voted to suspend the rules to bypass a committee hearing, so that way we can go to a floor vote as early as Monday, like yesterday. Well, we put it up for a vote, and at the very last minute, one of the senators decided to change his mind without telling anybody, without giving anybody notice that he had reservations or concerns, and basically just blindsided us all and betrayed us all.
Hang on.
Against his word.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I mean, blindsided. That's a in-your-face betrayal. Who is this? Who is this person that's changed their mind without any telling anybody, warning anybody, consulting with anybody? Who is this?
Senator Paul Boyer from Legislative District 20.
And his claim is what? Suddenly we don't want to hold the Board of Supervisors to account?
His concerns were that we were rushing through this and we were basically bullying these supervisors, and that the supervisors believed that we should go to court for asking for the physical paper ballots and other things, which is amazing because, he's supposed to be a smart legislator. He served as an intern early on in his life, and then actually became an elected official at the legislature. So he knows the law, or at least he should know the law, and should trust our attorneys. And even if he sought, wanted another opinion from another attorney, he could have done that. But he should have given us the courtesy of at least letting the Senate whip, which is myself, or the president of the Senate, and said, hey, wait a minute. Don't put this up. I've got some reservations. I want to discuss this. He believes that we should go to court and have the court decide if we have validity in issuing the subpoena on having all this data and information that we're asking for turned over to the Senate for examination. We are having an investigation, and the county supervisors have been obstructing an investigation for election integrity. So Paul Boyer thinks that the courts should decide that the legislature does not have the plenary authority over this, which he's sorely mistaken. It's just troubling all the way around. But just the egregious part, it was just not even telling anybody. So we're basically betraying his own colleagues, betraying this president of the Senate, and embarrassing us all because the vote was actually 15-15 and needs 16 to pass. It's just completely outrageous.
That's State Senator Paul Boyer, District 20, ladies and gentlemen. We like to make people famous on this show, and I think he'll be probably getting a few phone calls. Make them nice, make them polite, but make them robust, ladies and gentlemen. Sonny, before I let you go here, we're up against the break here, but before I let you go, so where does it go from here? Because it seems very clear to me that if you're in the middle of an investigation, you have the authority, you have the power. I actually went through, when Mark Fincham gets on the phone to me last week and he walks me through everything that's going on, I actually went through some of the Arizona legislature documents to make sure that what he was saying and the process that he was laying out to me was actually correct. I know it's crazy, but we actually do real journalism here. And we went through it. It was all correct. It did work. It worked out. We had the story, by the way, up on the National Pulse with a link to where it says that the Sergeant at Arms has this power and where it's derived from. So where do we go now? Because it seems to me that you have the power. Why should it go to the courts?
Right, exactly right. We don't have to go to the court. We have standing on this whole issue. And I broke it down like this. The argument is not about the election. That might be just a foregone conclusion. But what we have here is a political subdivision challenging the sovereign authority of the state Senate or the state legislature. That's it right there. What's next? You have a political subdivision like the county challenging us. What's next? A city council, a school board, a fire district. I mean, we're lawmakers. They're basically telling our other colleagues are saying it's okay to just violate the law, ignore the Senate, ignore the lawmakers. It doesn't matter. Let's just have anarchy and chaos.
Sonny Borrelli, we're up against a break here, but I really thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. We'll get to our.
We're not giving up. We're going to continue to fight.